Hey guys, I'm Jessie, and today we are going to be going through my Q2 exploding TBR, telling you kind of what I thought about all of the books, which ones I'm keeping and which ones I'm unhauling, because actually there's quite a few I think that I'm unhauling after this round, and I'm actually excited about it because I need room on these shelves. And it means I am getting through my physical TBR. So win, win, win. And I should have some more room for more books after this. Okay, so the first one, I am undecided on if I am going to keep it and read the rest of the series or if I'm going to unhaul it. I'm thinking that I am going to unhaul the physical copy. And if I do read the rest of the series, I will do so on ebook. And that is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This was not what I was expecting, A, and B, boring. I didn't like the love interest. And I know I don't think you're supposed to. I didn't like either person. And there's the other thing is I'm spoiled for it because I didn't care. So like I know pretty much what happens in the rest of the series. And I still don't care. I thought that Feyre was annoying, and I thought it was really awkward that her name is Feyre and the whole Fae thing, and like, I don't know. I don't like Fae and fated mates, and for one, I expected this to be schmutty, and it was very not schmutty. So I've heard that other books in the series get more schmutty, but I didn't care very much. I know this is like a darling series and it's so loved. And I do think I'm going to read book 2 just to kind of like see, but not anytime soon. And if I do, it's going to be like, hey, I got a really cheap bundle on Kindle because I don't want to physically own it. Then we have another one that was a DNF. And I will be unhauling, and it kind of makes me sad. And that is Witches Steeped in Gold. And y'all, this cover is so pretty. It makes me sad to get rid of it because the cover is so pretty. This is the Fairy Loot edition, but I just couldn't get into it. It's supposed to be like a Jamaican-inspired story with witches and like battling over the throne kind of thing. And I don't think I cared enough, honestly. So I don't really have much to say about this because I didn't make it far enough into it to really like give you any kind of overview other than I was bored. Then we have The Black Company, and I did not get to this one. I thought I was, and then I just kept passing it up for other things, other things, other things, other things. And honestly, I don't know if I even care enough to be like, okay, I'm going to put this back on my shelf and I'm going to try to get to it again. So you might be able to convince me that I will like this book, but as of right now, it's in the probably gonna unhaul pile, but not really sure. I honestly don't even know what it's about. I know that this is all 3 of the novels or 3 of the novels. I don't know how many there are in this series as a whole. But yeah, I didn't get to this one, so I have no opinions. But I kept looking at it and like going for other things, so that maybe tells me something. Then we have There Will Come a Darkness. This is actually a holdover from Q1, and I hadn't quite finished it yet. And I still haven't quite finished it. I ended up DNFing this. I, again, was bored. And this one I was really sad about because it sounded like everything I like. There's a prophecy. And there's like kind of a ragtag group, and there's a bunch of different people that come together. And I was bored. Another one that I'm still a little on the fence about, but I think I'm just going to get rid of is A Reckoning of Fallen Gods. This is the second book in the Coven series by R.A. Salvatore. I really liked the first book, but I just hadn't been able to get to this one. This one's the second book. And I made it, how far did I make it in? 100 pages. And just did not care. Like, I loved the characters in the first book. And then in this one, I was just like not caring at all about the characters. And like, everyone's terrible. And I don't know. I liked book 1, but this one was a DNF for me. So I think because I don't care to go back to this, I sat it down for a while. And I was like, I really liked book 1. let me see if like just sitting it down and then coming back to it. And I ended up never coming back to it. So I think I'm just going to unhaul the whole series because that was what this experiment's all about, right? And if I'm not going to read this, I don't want to keep book 1 and I don't need book 3. Next up on the chopping block, we have The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen. And this is another DNF and I will be unhauling it. Y'all, I'm brutal. I'm being brutal with these books because I need room. And I need to know my reading taste better. And yeah, this one's just got to go. Again, it was really typical YA. And I wasn't that interested. Which is funny because I ended up reading one of Margaret Owen's other books, Little Thieves. Absolutely loved it. This one though, I just couldn't get it. Next up, we have Ship of Smoke and Steel by Django Wexler. I liked this one okay. It was an okay book. I finished it. I gave it 3 stars. I'm still not sure if I really care enough to read the rest of the series though, so I'm probably just gonna unhaul it. It was good, but it wasn't great. It was again, it felt very typical. It's anybody in the world that has magic is conscripted into the army. This girl is like kind of hiding out, trying to protect her sister, and she gets thrown onto a suicide mission in order to protect her sister and ends up meeting like a ragtag group of friends, falling in love with somebody that is very unexpected. I liked that part. And like trying to save the world. So that could literally describe so many different YA fantasy books. And this one was okay. It wasn't poorly written. I'd be interested in reading more of Django Wexler's books, but I think more of his adult books. Another chopping block pick, and that is Fate of the Fallen. Another DNF from this round of exploding TBR. Yeah, I liked where it was going, but I didn't like anything else about it. I liked that it kind of flipped the Chosen One trope on its head, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be fun. And then it wasn't fun. Like, it was just bleh. So, I feel like I'm not really explaining these books well at all, but you also have to realize it's been a while since I filmed, so it's been a while since I've read these books. So, I do talk about some of them more in my recent reads wrap-ups part 1 and 2, but yeah, you're not getting a whole lot out of me with descriptions on these ones, especially the ones I DNF'd, because I made it like 100 pages, and literally the reason I DNF'd was I don't want to read this for one reason or another. Like, most of the time it was just like I'm laying on my chair right here reading, and I'm like, I'd much rather be reading something else. And when I start feeling like that, I'm just like, bah. And the final chopping block book, before we get to the ones that I did really enjoy, was We Hunt the Flame. And I know this is like a really well-loved book, and I was bored for 125 pages. I was bored and nothing happened. And I know it probably picks up closer to the middle end, but I was bored and nothing happened. And yeah. Now, I promise we did get through some books that I did actually enjoy. 3 of them. And the first one is Geekerella, which should be surprising to everyone because I don't read romance, like, at all. And this is a contemporary romance. It is centered around a, like, Comic-Con-esque convention. And I just thought it was cute and sweet. And I think it was, like, what I needed at the moment because I was kind of fantasy slumping, like, just my brain could not handle the chaos, and I needed something sweet and fluffy, and this was definitely a sweet, fluffy little romance that I flew through in like one day. It was a really quick read, and I enjoyed it, and I want to read the rest of this series because like the Comic-Con is so cute, and I love conventions, so I think that's another thing is like I like the setting because it's very like conventions. And this one, again, is like a Cinderella inspired. And I think all of them are. Then we have Princess and the Fangirl is next. And that one's, again, fairy tale inspired. And then there's like a Beauty and the Beast one. So yeah, I liked these ones and I'm keeping them. Then I have the Ivory Key, which wasn't my favorite, but I did really like it. I'm just not sure if I want to keep it. I ended up actually having 2 copies. I gave 1 copy to my niece already. But it was not bad. It's an Indian-inspired fantasy with like 4 siblings, and they all kind of don't get along, but they all have to get along to like save their kingdom, basically. And they go on this quest to save their kingdom. My issues came with the fact that like the action, and it felt like nothing really happened until well over the halfway mark. But it also felt like it was targeted more towards a younger YA audience, which is not me. Obviously, I'm old. So which is why I gave a copy to my niece, because I had like the Fairy Loot and the Illumicrate edition. But yeah, it was good. It was good enough. And I think I might keep this one because I do want to read the second book, but I'm not like super pressed on it. So I'm not really sure. And then the final book off of this experimental exploding TBR was Jade Fire Gold, and I really liked it. Again, was it a new favorite? No. Was it kind of tropey YA fantasy? Yup. Did I still like it? Yup. I had a fun time with this. I have a tendency to really like Asian inspired fantasies lately, and this just hit my spot. We're following this girl who wants to be basically a tea mage to save her sister who is dying of poison, and basically like the whole country that they're in is like being attacked by this like rogue tea poisoner. And we also follow the like rogue outcast heir after his family had been slaughtered by like members of his other family to take over the throne. And there's like a lot of political intrigue. There is romance and friendship. The only like real complaint is that the romance was kind of insta-love, which I don't love, but I still really enjoyed the book. And there's like a twist kind of at the end, and I'm very excited to see what happens next. All right, well, that was my entire quarter 2 wrap up for my exploding TBR. As you can see, there is a ton of books that I will be unhauling, getting off of my shelves, taking to my local used bookstore to trade in for credit for new books. I'll probably let my niece go through and see if she wants any of them, but other than that, yeah, they're off my shelves. And I now have more room for more books because it was recently my birthday and I got some books. So I need places to put them, right? All right, well, thank you guys for hanging out with me. My name is Jessie and I will see you next time. Bye.